Hi there, everyone. This is Darren from Simnation. Just continuing the Zero to Hero series with Appalachian State. For those of you not familiar with this series, it is where I kind of take one of the worst teams in the league and try to turn them into a playoff team in one season. A lot of this is just meant to show you how to potentially turn your team around when you take on a new team. It's kind of hard and frustrating at times. Uh, so uh, we're now into the second week of the season. Appalachian State, of course, had a bye in week one. They played UNLV, who was a borderline ranked team in week two. There's a video up on how that looks from a game planning perspective on how I approached it. But if you kind of look at what I did, again, my defense, I made a conscious choice going into this game to have both my offense and defense run by my coaches' playbooks, although I tweaked the weights and stuff on whether it was run versus pass. Um, and what I would say is the defense absolutely underperformed. The offense absolutely did well, but I have a couple warning signs I've got to deal with pretty quickly. So most of the game, Appalachian State was playing back and forth with UNLV, which was what I was hoping for. I wasn't hoping for a shootout. They did pretty good until the final 2 minutes, and then, of course, they gave up the lead, allowed for overtime, and then went back and forth in overtime before they managed to win the game by stopping the 2 point conversion from UNLV. The warning sign I have is Carr, who's my quarterback. Is a really good passer, but it didn't show in this game. 38.8% isn't going to cut it from a percentage. That's a warning sign to me. But when he did complete, he completed massively, averaging 25.7 yards per catch. That's really good. 488 yards, 6 touchdowns. He didn't throw an interception. Another warning sign is the sacks is really high. I need to look at the offensive line and make some adjustments. My running game really wasn't working outside of end arounds. And again, I don't traditionally use end arounds because I think they're overpowered. I haven't banned them from the league yet because I'm finishing some analysis around that. I don't see where it influences a team uh, winning championships or games. It can be defended. It's hard to defend it, but at the same time, I personally don't like using end arounds because I do think that they're overpowered. In this case, I was using them because I was using the coach's playbook. Now, I do have a new playbook that I built off last game, and we'll go from there. But as you can see, my two running backs didn't do really good. Major will get the start this week because Alvarado was largely ineffective. Turner had a really good game. He is a fast wide receiver, and he gets under the ball really, really well. So I was happy with his performance. Probably going in this week, I'm going to make Harlan the primary wide receiver, though. Kicking is kicking. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. My punting was good, so I was happy with Anthony. My punt returns were pretty good. Happy with that. Didn't have a whole lot of fumbles, but it's just something I'm gonna keep an eye on. My defense, again, I struggled to generate pressure. I struggled with getting the stops when I needed them. So I'm going to have to revisit my defensive line and my linebacker. But again, in using a coach's playbook, this isn't uncommon. So I'm probably going to use a coach's playbook again this week because I'm trying to build enough reps and plays that I can figure out what a good run defense playbook looks like, a good pass defense playbook looks like, and what a good balance playbook looks like. I will show you in a minute that I'm pretty happy with my corners, not so happy with everyone else. Um, on the offensive line, got some work to do. As you can see, is my center just basically got beaten all night. This is a timing sack. Major is not known for his blocking skills, so I may want to factor that in going into the passing attack going forward. This is my backup center. He didn't do much better. And then, of course, we have Jensen, who's a fullback. So basically, a lot of the sacks were coming off of the the backfield. Um, I do have an injury where I'm gonna have to deal with one of my key defensive ends is out now. But my tackles didn't do a good job either. They were missing tackles, which kind of makes sense. I don't have great linemen at Appalachian State. I wasn't able to find them before recruiting ended. But all in all, a win is a win, right? I knocked off a really good team. This is a quality win for Appalachian State. I need those. It's just I need to smooth out some things. Um, so going into this week, the next person I'm playing is South Florida. This is a game I can win. So they're going to throw the ball probably a lot. I do need to factor in the fact that they may run the ball as well. So the team that they played last week, if I remember correctly, and we'll just double check this real quick, is they played Oklahoma State. This is Skeltor, and Skeltor he likes to run the ball. So what I need to be careful with is this is going to be skewed, especially on defense towards the run, where if you look at this, you say, hey, run the ball. Skelter doesn't really pass the ball a lot. He likes to run the ball. So this would be why it looks like the pass defense is better than it actually is. The pass defense is actually not that good. So I'm going to throw the ball. I'm going to primarily focus on throwing the ball, but I'm going to run more balanced enough that I'm going to get runs in. And I've changed my running packages to kind of reflect what I think should work, which will be more outside runs, kind of a few counters here or there, but really focusing less on off tackles and things and really focusing more on like pitches and sweeps, which should allow my speed to help me. Uh, on offense, I think they're going to throw the ball, but again, I'm going to run a little bit more balanced set because I'm not utterly convinced that they are truly going to pass the ball more. I think what happened is they got behind 33-7, right? And they were throwing the ball more as a result. So I think that South Florida, while they do prefer the pass, is going to run kind of what I'm going to try to run, which is a heavier weight on passing, but enough of a weight on running that I can keep them honest. So that's kind of what my focus is going to be. Is I think they run a lot of zone from what I saw. I think that also I should have the ability to get to the outside because it looked like they were focusing a lot on the inside. I am going to have to deal with some injuries. Tarver getting hurt kind of hurts a little bit because he's one of my speed cornerbacks. They don't really have speed, to be honest. The wide receiver three, if I remember correctly, I forget what his name is the fastest guy. He has like a 90 speed. Everybody else I can actually guard against. So again, I do think that this is a winnable game for me. I just got to also factor in the fact it's going to be raining. So when we look at the depth chart, I am going to bench Ream. Uh, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sorry, I am going to bench Lee for this game. I'm not really happy with his performance last week. Weems is someone I know. Now, the problem with Reams is he gets hurt easily. And again, I know this guy well because he was at Colorado last season, and Colorado is one of my teams. Major's going to get the start at running back because, again, I think that he's just a better running back. Alfredo is a better change of pace back. I am trying to make some changes on the line as well to try to adjust. But as you can see, is Ross Turner was wide receiver one. I've now moved Harlan there. Turner was wide receiver two. I'm trying to get him into more space. And then on defense, I'm going to be without Tarver, which means that Rigsby will get the start. I'm just not going to change it. I don't feel the need to. And then Begay and Francisco. Francisco probably won't play, so it'll be Sauls, and we'll see how that goes. This will be the last week that I run a playbook from the coach on defense because I should have enough data for me to build one. Um, so my new offensive strategy is going to be called Orani. So it's a lot of medium to long passing. Um, it also has a lot of emphasis on outside running, and we'll see how that goes. And again, like I mentioned, I am going to try to throw the ball. It's weighted more towards the pass, but I'm still going to run the ball quite a bit. I changed up some of the blitz weights to try to deal with the fact I'm not getting pressure. Um, Riddle's defense is not a great defense. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly, but I do need to have one more week with it to just kind of figure out what I'm going to be doing. Um, so we'll see how that plays out. And hopefully it will play out in a way that allows me to be able to get the win. Game plan, again, like I mentioned, I'm going more balanced. I'm going to keep my tempo the way it is. Going to switch to aiming for Harlan a little bit more, major more of a presence in both third down and goal line. Alvarado was Hill before. Um, and we'll see how that plays out. On defense, this is wrong. That should be, actually, this should be balanced if I remember correctly. I still think that they're going to try to run the ball more on me. Primary coverage is none. I am going to, this is supposed to be pass rush. And then I'm just going to try to kind of block against the pass. I have long passing because I noticed they're throwing the ball long a lot, and I want to try to negate that. The custom playbook, just in general, whenever you see these copies here, what I'm doing is I'm letting this play out to see what plays work. Traditionally, the way I look at it is a successful play. If it's a run defense play, if it's less than 4 yards, it's successful. If it's a balance play, if it's less than 5, it's successful. And then if it's a pass play, if it's less than 6, it's successful. Anything that's more than 9 or 10, get rid of it. It's just bad. If it's more than 5 or 6 as a rush defense, get rid of it. It's bad. If it's balanced more than 7, get rid of it. It's bad. And you'll see me trim that down when I do the next game planning video. But like for instance, this one I would get rid of because it's just not working. Now again, it's only one instance, and that could have just been that it was a bad matchup. But in general, these are not good plays. I would never run a cover one man, and I would never run a trail mix because there's too much zone in this play. Um, this one I would get rid of because I see more of it's been run tries. This one, I do like cover 4 in general against deep patterns, but unless I know I'm playing against a deep person, I don't generally want to run it. And then this one is just doing really bad. Got to get rid of it. And then I would get rid of these as well. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not going to show my O'Ronnie playbook because next week I play Starfinder and I just don't want to give any insight into what I'm doing. He'll be able to see what I'm doing anyways. But that's kind of what we're looking at. It'll be interesting to see how Weems does. One thing I do want to show you real quick because I was asked about this, about how I know whether a cornerback is doing well or not. Generally, I look at two things: is are they getting a lot of pass defenses? Now, 4 is a really good number, right? Also means they're being targeted a lot. But these two, Casper and Sawyer, are doing really good because this is less than 50%. So if the catches allowed against target is above 50%, it's okay. It's just not great. But if it's below 50%, that corner is doing a pretty good job. So you can see Casper is just doing really good. 5 out of 12, he's under 50. 6 out of 14, he's under 50. And both of them have 4 pass defenses. Yanez is a coverage linebacker. He's doing really good. But if you look at Rigsby, he's not doing as good. Neither is Norris. But again, he's a linebacker. I don't know how much I want to ding him. My free safety is just not doing good in coverage at all. Neither is my strong safety, and I'm gonna have to look at that. Part of that could just be the plays I'm choosing for them. But that's one of the things that I kind of look at. So that's it for this week for game planning. Hopefully you find this video useful. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. And if you want to join the SNCFL, feel free to reach out to me to the Discord that's linked in this video. Have a great night. Thank you.